Good evening, everybody, or good morning, whenever you're watching the video, and welcome to another Zwift race. Today we are racing stage 3, Fresh Outta 24 on the course Loop de Loop. And so it's a 2-loop course with one short but steep and punchy climb, quite a bit of rolling up and down, so a few hundred meters of elevation. And so I was already doing a quite steady ride in the morning. I did 1 hour at upper zone 2, so my legs were not 100% fresh, but also not exactly tired. And so as you can see, the field is relatively big. It's over 50 people in the highest category, which is not that common in many races. So many races actually the highest category, which is racing scores 690 to 1000, you actually do not find that many people. So the Monday evening race, what we are doing today, is actually quite popular, and you usually find a pretty strong field in these races. As you can also see with some of the names, like Kirchmeier, for example, we have quite a few very strong riders. We also have here Patrick Haller, the commentator from GCN Germany, also strong rider, and a few others that are really pushing it. As you can see that the race started and we're averaging over 370 watts, and I can tell you that this was just the beginning, and it just kept on climbing. The average power that I was holding during that race actually turned out to be the highest average power that I've ever had in a Zwift race for over 20 minutes, at least in 2024. I think I had one before where I had a slightly higher one. But you will see that the power was pretty crazy during that race. As you can see, the field is pretty stretched, and I was trying to not get dropped, but also I had no ambition whatsoever to play any part in the front of the race. So my main goal was to survive with the front group to the beginning of the climb. And then, at least in the first lap, I plan to try to get with the front group over the climb. And I know that this will require, I would say around 6 watts per kilogram at least on the climb. It's not that high, not that long, but it will definitely hurt me for the rest of the race. And I know that I was not going to play any role in that race when it comes to the final contention for the upper places in the ranking. As you can see here, we're now 3 minutes in, average power of 390 watts, which is pretty ridiculous to be frank, and definitely outside of my comfort zone. So my FTP is around 360, so all of that is above threshold. And basically VO2 max efforts constantly, and that's the tough thing about these races is in the end maybe the average power is not looking too crazy, but it's the short punchy surges which really drain your body when you're racing. And here you see also, when you are racing, make sure, at least in most cases, use the power up just before you get the next one. You get a bit of free ride in brackets, but at least you make use of the power up. And I can just recommend, as long as you have races where you know that you will get multiple power ups during the laps and during the ride, use all of the power ups. Don't hold on to your first power up until the end of the race, unless you really know that this is the one that you need to maybe contest for the win or on the final climb not to get dropped. Otherwise, make use of all the power-ups, because they will help you maybe recover a little bit better, or maybe save a bit of energy when you are closing a gap. So I'm now in the front part of the group, which is somewhere where I don't really want to be. So I will try to maybe reduce the power slightly compared to the others to make them pass me, and then be able to enjoy more of the draft. But as you see, we're pushing over 400 watts at times, and 5 minutes in, still almost 380 watts. And it's clear that the moment we're hitting the hill, it's going to be really painful. You see on the right side the little orange jerseys. That is the confirmed pros that are racing in Zwift. So usually the cycling professionals will have an orange jersey that says pro, and then we also have the green jersey, which is the triathletes, in case there is some racing. But that's the difference between the jerseys. And then we have the verified people, which is I think, for example, at the name from Kirchmeier, from Kirchmeier Cycling, you will see the orange hook, which is about the verified people or athletes. So we're now on the more or less flat part, but the power is still very high. I'm still riding most of the time above FTP, and I know that this is going to hurt very badly in the end. Heart rate is still looking okay with 160. So 160, I'm usually quite comfortable holding that for a very long time. For me, the tricky point or the tricky part is when it gets like over 165 towards 170 and above. Then I really know that I'm going to suffer a lot during the ride or the race. And you can see every incline, 550 watts, 540 watts, and it's just a short 5% roller, only for a few hundred meters, and people are just pushing. So really tough first few minutes of the ride. Again, over 500 watts. Trying to just keep the breathing normally. I don't think I drank a drop during the whole ride. So for the shorter races, this one is around 35 minutes. I actually hardly ever drink something. I'm just too busy trying to survive and not get dropped, that I don't really have time to drink or to focus on drinking. For the longer races that maybe have a little bit lower average power, I always try to fuel and drink. But I had a Red Bull before the race, and I think 2 espresso, trying to get some caffeine into the body, and then hope that this will be enough to get me through the ride. So we're now getting close to 8 minutes in, and power is still just below 380, and we are not on the climb yet. And it's clear that the moment we're going to hit the climb, the power is going to get really high. As you also maybe see sometimes, I actually have not shifted a lot in that ride. I usually just pushing over the little rollers, but you will not hear any shifting, because I'm using the Zwift Click, and the Zwift Click comes with a Zwift cock. I actually have not mounted the cock on the trainer. I'm just using the normal cassette from the bike, but I've put the Zwift Click onto the bike, just on the right side of the handlebar, on the drop, which you can't really see now. But so it's basically electronic shifting. You see on the top left corner, you see in which gear I'm in. So I think in total it's 22 or 24 gears. And so usually for racing, I'm racing gears 14, 15, 16. And that basically covers my power between 230 and 380 watts. So as long as I'm in those gears, I don't really need more. And I also have the trainer difficulty set quite low. I think around 30% maybe, which helps me there to, I just don't need to shift that much, because I don't really see the point that on every little hill I need to shift through the gears. So just keeping it simple and not shifting too much, which is fine for me. So we're 10 minutes in. The power gets a little bit lower. So we are on 370 watts average now, but we're also approaching the hill. Yeah, as I said, it's I think it's around 2 minutes on the hill, if I remember the Strava times afterwards that I saw. And yeah, the first time was brutal, as you will see soon. So just getting ready mentally, getting a bit sweat off the face, because I find it really annoying when the sweat is running through your face. And here you see the climb. So we have an average grade, and I think it's around 7%, with a few little bit steeper parts. But yeah, it's going to hurt. I knew that, and this is also the case. And as I said, first time on the climb, I was trying to stay with the front group to get together with them over the climb. And yeah, you see here 570 watts. I think I averaged 490 or 480 something watts for the whole climb. But at least I'm managing to actually stay with the guys together. You see heart rate is going up to over 170, and you also see the average watts, of course, for the whole climbing, because yeah, pushing over 500 watts for a little bit longer duration, yeah, gets the average up quite a lot. So we are 12 minutes in almost, and are over 380 watts average, which is, yeah, pretty painful, to be frank. But on the positive side, which is not to be underestimated, these races are absolutely amazing training to get your VO2 max up, to work on your FTP. You can really push yourself above to what you maybe would do in a normal training, because yeah, if you want to stay with the group, you got to push to stay with the group, and you can't just hold to your power numbers that you want to ride, because then you maybe get dropped, as you can see here, what I almost did. So I was really on the limit, still doing over 400 watts. Average power is up to 388. I don't know if it goes up to 390, but close to it. So 388 watts average for 12 and a half minutes, which is, yeah, quite a lot. As I said, it's some of the best and highest power outputs I ever had in a Zwift race. And I actually had a very bad warm-up, because I was a little bit late for the race. So I only realized that the race was approaching with 10 minutes to go. So I just quickly got ready, got the computer set up and everything, and then jumped on the bike to get going. So I only had maybe 5-minute warm-up or 4-minute warm-up, which was not enough to really get the legs ready. And I think I felt that also in the first hard efforts. But yeah, I managed what I came out to do, and that is that I'm over the top of the climb, and I'm still with the main group. We had a few shorter attacks, but nothing that really stuck. And so the group was all together when we came over the first climb. And I don't know what I'm doing here at the front of the race. I don't belong here. I shouldn't be there. But at least I can say I was leading one of the strong fields in the Monday race for a few seconds, and I think that's also enough for me. I got no place in the front of these fields. I'm pretty much average or mid of the pack, or maybe back of the mid pack rider in the 8 group races. I'm not one of the strong guys when it comes to the big fields. In smaller races, I maybe can fight for a top 10 or a top 5, but in the bigger races or the tinies, I'm far away from the front of the field, which is fine. I'm still counting on that. I can run better, than most of the guys and swim better, so hopefully I'm a better triathlete, but definitely not stronger cyclist than a lot of these guys. The power numbers they're putting out is just ridiculous. So we're now 15 minutes in and averaging 377 watts, 380 watts for 50 minutes. So yeah, I would say the FTP test that I did was pretty accurate, considering a lot of the surges that we did here in this race. I think that if I do a 20-minute FTP test, I would come up with something around 380, 385 as my 20-minute power. Maybe I will do one in some time, but not decided yet when and if and where. Yeah, so we are approaching the end of lap 1, which you can see also on the middle blue bar, where you see the white lines for the start-finish banner. The first one was before we had a little intro before we actually started the lap, and now we are approaching the finish line, where we will get a new power up. So I can't remember, but I hope I'm smart enough to actually use my current power up, gaining a few watt per kilogram, because I used the feather to get a bit lighter, and then I'll get a new power up once I'm crossing the start finish banner, which you can see here. So you also get a new power up if you actually use your current one, and then the new one is basically put in waiting, and yeah, waiting for the old one to finish, and then you have the new one active and are able to use that one. Yeah, power actually got a little bit down, so we're on 370 average. You also see my heart rate going a little bit down, which is good. That keeps me alive, because I could not sustain over 170 that we had on the climb. And yeah, so for me it was now mostly about getting to the bottom of the climb for the second lap, and I knew that I would not be able to follow the attacks there. So my target was to actually ride the climb at my own power, maybe around 330, maybe around 350 watts, but not going to go crazy and try to stay with the guys, because I knew I couldn't, and I didn't want to risk to blow up completely and then roll over the finish line with a 10-minute gap, because I couldn't push anything anymore. But yeah, I looked afterwards into the details of the ride, and as I always say that I ride most of my time in zone 2. There wasn't much zone 2 on this one. There was, I think, in my heart rate zones, I spent 35 seconds in zone 2 and over 80% in zone 5, which really just makes clear and emphasizes how hard these rides are. They're relentless. There's no real recovery part. I mean, you see from time to time on the downhills I try to take the power out a little bit and get the draft and then try to sail a little bit with the guys. But because of the rolling nature of the course and just the aggressive riding and people trying to close the gaps to the guys in front, there was very little room to breathe and catch a breath in between the efforts. So yeah, another little incline, and again power immediately goes up to over 400 watts, close to 500, or even over 500, 560, 580, which is almost a sprint for me. It's like close to my 1 minute power. It's a little bit below, but it's a very hard effort. And yeah, I'm realizing that I'm facing the reality that this ride is not going to end with the front group, which was clear for me from the beginning. But you always have some hopes, and I actually was pretty close to give up earlier already and just call it a day. but then you're always surprised how you can actually stay in the group without pushing too hard. And I still have to learn that a little bit better to not work too hard when riding in the group, but actually use the draft in the best possible way. I'm not great at that, which is also the reason why you quite often see people in races that have significantly lower average power for a race, but just beat me in the finish, because they just ride smarter and then they arrive at the finish line with fresher legs. So we're 20 minutes in now. We are on 370 watt average, which, as I said, is my highest average power that I so far had in a race. It's just below 5 watts per kilogram, which is my target for FTP maybe in the future, maybe 2025. I would be very, very happy if I could reach 5 watts per kilogram FTP, but still some work to do to actually get there. As you can see here, again, a small incline only, but again over 6 watts per kilogram, because on every little incline the guys were absolutely motoring up there. And I was on my limit already, or basically since the gun I was on my limit. And I must say I was actually pretty happy that I was still with the guys, because as I said, there was quite a few strong guys from some strong teams in the race, and I really cannot complain that I'm still with them. I had a few strong rides and efforts in the past week, and I'm pretty happy with this one. I actually expected that I would get dropped earlier, but I didn't. So happy to manage to stay with them. And you can see people are writing, this is beating. And I'm always wondering, like, how are people thinking about texting during these races? I mean, I'm doing 370 watts average, and other people are like texting and writing messages, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm just managing to breathe enough to not get dropped immediately. And people are texting. But Mr. Haller was asking for the gruppetto, which formed, I guess, relatively quickly on the climb. I think he finished also a few seconds behind me, if I'm not mistaken. I finished somewhere in the 20s, so pretty much mid-pack, and not too happy with that. I'm definitely showing that I'm done. My legs were just burning with lactate built up, and I'm not training for these short hard surges that happen in these races, because it's not really my nature of racing that I usually do in triathlon. But on the other side, I actually do like these Zwift races and these short hard efforts. So I hope I will do some more in the future, and that will help me to get fitter and come into 2025 in great shape, because I feel that I'm actually in very good shape at the moment when it comes to December, and still a few weeks of riding to be done this year, but it looks like a promising start into 2025, and 2025 is going to be an amazing year. There's a lot of things that are going to happen in 2025, both professionally and privately, but there's more to come, more information to come very soon. You can see I'm pushing 300 watts. I'm just trying to stay with the group, and I have no plan on pushing in any way. Don't really know what I was doing here. I think I was making a photo. Suffer selfie. I actually forgot that I was doing that while the camera was recording, but yep. Gotta document it. And yep, so we're now getting to the last climb, where I knew that I was going to get dropped, which is fine. You can see also in the average watts that I took away a little bit of power. Again, in the front of the race, I don't know what I'm doing there. I really need to be a bit smarter to stay in the draft. No point for me in being there in the front. We have a small breakaway, I think 4 riders, which is just crazy. I mean, I don't know how people break away from a group like this, this strong. But yeah, some crazy strong guys in this ride or in Zwift in general. And yes, there's always people who say like, oh, there's so many cheating and weight doping and so on. And yes, there is. And I guess most people are, a kilo more, kilo less. Of course, is not that big of a difference. But there's some big cheating going on. But actually, I think the higher the ranking, or the higher the racing, the races, the more tough the races are, the less cheating you will have, because people are known, people are paying a bit more attention to you. So if you win an ACAT race, a bigger one, people will want to see some verification, or people are asked to upload weigh-in videos, and people also are monitoring a little bit more your weight. And then if you suddenly like drop 2 kilos from one week to the other, people get suspicious. So I think there's more cheating going on in the B, C, and D cat than actually in the A cat. I think in the A cat you might have some more sophisticated cheats that are maybe have manipulated power meters, or just power meters that are crazy overreading. So there's also a lot of races that ask for double power meters. So to have, for example, your pedals and your indoor trainer dual recording, to make sure that both power meters are within tolerance. And you can see here, that's it for me. We're on the first slope of the climb, and the guys are gone. And I'm basically game over. So I'm sticking to my 300 to 350 watts for most of the climb, but not going too far over it. Good, sorry, a little bit tired after the race. But yeah, okay, a little bit over it. I see it here, 380. I didn't remember that I was pushing that hard actually. And that basically was it when it comes to getting any good place. But I still decided that I want to finish in kind of a strong way. So I didn't stop and just roll in. I at least kept riding in a relatively strong way, and made sure that I do a solid finish. With sprint or without sprint would depend a little bit if I would ride alone towards the finish line or with a group. If I would ride with a group to the finish line, of course I would try to squeeze out some kind of sprint. But if I'm riding alone to the finish, there's no point in it. Was a bit surprised to see no dragons today. Usually there's always a few joining the Mondays rides, but could also be that they've been in some other race. I think it was only me from the dragons today. And so we now managed to get over the top of the climb. We only have 3 kilometers to go, and luckily the majority of it is downhill. So there's no need to push any crazy power numbers anymore. It was just to keep it nice, steady pressure on the pedals, and then yeah, ride towards the finish line and see if there's somebody else joining or not when we come to the finish. In general, I would say that I'm trying to do 2 to 3 Zwift races per week when I'm at home. So each of them will be between, yeah, usually I would say between 20 and 40 minutes efforts, which is almost an FTP test in every race. But I feel that this is the maximum amount that I can tolerate, while still keeping a relatively high volume on the rest of the days. I mean, today in the morning I was riding 40 kilometers. Now with the 25 kilometer of the race, so I did like 65k today, which is a good average for a day. Would get me to around 450k a week, which is what I will need to do, because I still have a distance goal to achieve for this year. My target is to reach around 20,000 kilometers, or to break the 20,000 kilometers, of course. And I'm now on 19,200, I think, so I still need to do 800 kilometers, but because we have over 2 weeks left, plus the rougher 500, which I will definitely do indoors, because yeah, I can't be bothered riding outdoors in the rain and cold. And I know there's people who are like, oh, there's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing. That's fine. Go outside and ride, enjoy it. I won't. If the sun is shining, I might do the occasional ride outside in winter. But other than that, I'm a warm weather rider, or at least a fair weather rider. So at least I need some sunshine or dry conditions in winter to ride outside. I will also be in Dubai next week, so I'll be flying to Dubai from Warsaw on Sunday morning. So I will be 3 days or 3.5 days in Dubai to see my girlfriend and go for a few rides with her together. So I will do a few kilometers because I will be like working from home, just from a different home. And the good thing with the time difference is that I actually only start working around 11, so I have time to do some nice riding in the morning. And it's actually quite cold at the moment in Dubai. It's like 10 degrees in the early morning. So yeah, if you go out before sunrise, you definitely need your long sleeve and maybe also a windbreaker, and maybe even a hat. Pretty crazy thinking about that you're in Dubai riding with a hat because it's cold, but yep, that's what it is. Yeah, here we got caught by a few guys just before the finish line, and I was just done. I was trying to do a little bit of a sprint, and I think I did like 5 seconds at 1,100 or 1,050 watts. And yeah, that was it. There was just like nothing, absolutely nothing left. But I hope you enjoyed watching me suffering. I did enjoy the ride and the race, and yeah, as I said, I'm finishing in the middle with 24th place. I did 4.7 watt for 32 minutes,